Hey guys, Parkinwatt here, and I just wanted to show you a quick video of a new feature that dropped in 3DMark, the Advanced Edition. It's a new test for the new Intel XeSS. Super sampling, basically. It's 125% upscaling technology, AI technology, much like NVIDIA's DLSS. And I know DLSS has gone through a couple revisions, but I just wanted to show you the features and limitations of this. So it's dropped in 3DMark today. It's a new benchmark. If you go to the benchmark page down here, there's an Intel XeSS feature test. So I've already done the comparisons. I get about a 32%, 33, a little over 32 or 33% uplift in performance, and it looks pretty good. But I have the results here. They also have a direct comparison that you can kind of check out, and you can zoom in on it and all that kind of stuff. So here's a half times zoom on both, and I just kind of wanted to point out the differences between native rendering TAA, Temporal Anti-Aliasing, and the XeSS Ultra Quality. What are the limitations of it? How does it perform? All that kind of stuff. So I've already mentioned that I personally, on an RTX 2070, I get about a 32-33% uplift in performance, frames per second. And so let's just kind of zoom in on what are the limitations of it now. So here's again the direct comparison. We can zoom in up to 32 times. I'm just going to pick a single frame here. So let's start with just some of the brighter areas of the scene with reflections is specifically what I'm looking at. So first of all, here's some of the limitations right here. If we zoom in on this particular point right here, again, this is a 4 times zoom. So you're not going to ever usually see this type of detail. And by the time you get up this close to this type of detail, it might look very much more similar to this. But, you know, if it's a first-person shooter or something like that you're playing, you're not going to notice these types of details most likely. But what you've got here is, look at these reflections. It really does, the AI really does average it out quite a bit more. So you lose a fair bit of detail. You can see there's small reflections and imperfections in paint and things like that that do show up that are somewhat visible on the XeSS side of things, but they are definitely, they're still bright, but they're definitely, you lose a little bit of that detail. You can come here though, and here's one of the benefits I find of it. Well, let's look at this for instance here. See the anti-aliasing from the temporal anti-aliasing that kind of doesn't exactly get edges like this quite perfect, and you can see it again up here as well. And yet when we compare this, look at how clean that edge looks now. Right? It's quite an impressive feat as to how smooth the AI can get some of these corners. Let's look at this right here as another example of the anti-aliasing from the AI doing a fantastic job of cleaning up edges, cleaning up corners, just really smoothing out those areas where the TAA doesn't quite get it perfect. Looks good, but you can see a bit of artifacting and extra, and the XeSS kind of does the same thing, but because it's so much more blended, you don't really notice it as much, and the edges for the most part do look quite a bit cleaner. So I do like that about it. I don't like that you lose some of the darks, so you can see it might be hard to tell in the compression on YouTube, but there's going to be certain areas, like for instance this right here, this particular side is a little bit darker, maybe if I had to give a number to it, maybe about 10% darker than this particular point here. And you'll find locations like that all the way through. Here's another example of reflections and detail lost. So we're seeing all the marble floor here. You can see it's much more muted on the AI side. So you do lose detail, obviously. Again, this edge looks good, but there's a little bit more direct pixelation right on that edge, where the rendering shows a little bit darker and then shows a little bit lighter, and sometimes they cross over just slightly by 1 pixel one side to the other. The AI does a really good job of cleaning that line up, but again, it's blending things together ever so slightly. So while the edge looks good, it definitely looks muted compared to the native render with TAA enabled. Here's something it does do fairly well though. Again, see that edge there versus this edge here. Again, it just seems to average 1 extra pixel a little bit either direction to help get that blending. And when you're zoomed out at 1x, I actually do prefer the look of this point here. But again, this marble behind it is darker than the marble here. Another point of contact for detail that is lost in the particular renders is right here. So you can see a little bit more detail in the reflection of this gold, I guess, plated material, it looks like. And then some of the colors of the lighting, the blues and things like that, and whites showing through. Here, a lot of that detail is lost. There's some dark spots in here that would probably be not reflecting light very effectively, yet here they're just kind of averaged out. So you do definitely lose detail. One of the biggest things I found though, I mean, let's check out these pipes here. Almost zero difference between the TAA in native rendering and the XeSS ultra quality. So there's a couple of the couple points of contact. Again, the handle, a little bit cleaner looking in the AI, but look at all the detail lost here. All the way through the bottom. A lot of pixels that are, again, this is a little bit brighter through here, but when you zoom out, it doesn't really look bad. And to get a 30% uplift in performance, if it were only 10%, I might say I'd rather almost take the detail, but there's other areas. Look at that. Amazing what the AI does and keeps, because this is out of focus in this image, just ever so slightly out of focus. So we actually keep almost all of that detail, even in the AI rendering of it. So it is quite impressive. Just wanted to put this video out and show you kind of some of the limitations and massive benefits still to get very, very similar results for the XeSS by Intel using 3DMark to do a direct comparison. Alright guys, if you thought that was cool, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.